Hi, welcome back to Let's Get Dirty Garage, where this time we're going to try and empty out the inside of the beast, gut it from the inside out, and see if we can't empty out the interior of this thing. So, should be lots of fun, lots of dirt, lots of smells, interesting stuff. So, let's go ahead and let's get dirty. Is this thing on? Yeah. Okay, let's try and get some of these interior pieces and parts out of the way so that we can gut this completely. So I'm going to just start with visors and mirror and the welt trim around here, so we can see if we can drop this headliner, because it's in really bad shape. So we'll see what we can do to get these antiques out of here. But I believe all of these should just be random Phillips heads that are stripped out. That's always handy. Oh, that's keeper. Yeah, I got 3 screws in these. I wanted to make sure that it wasn't going anywhere. But hey, they're chrome. Must make it go faster. The old saying goes, the chrome don't get you home, but I don't think this one's going anywhere anyways for a while. Actually, the visors are not in bad shape, surprisingly. Headliner's a different story, but those I think we can recover and reuse, polish up a little bit. But no rips, tears. Sorry, no vanity mirrors either, but yeah. We'll see if this... all sorts of nice chunkage coming out of there. Random screws. Wow. That is seriously attached. I think that is actually bolted to the roof structure. All right. These welt trims are completely trashed, but I think you can get pretty decent replacements in all sorts of interesting colors. So we'll see what we decide to do for color on the inside, because it's definitely not going to stay this nasty brown.
What do you mean? I mean, it's camel.
I think it's more like camel poo. It's definitely not.
Oh, it's terrible.
That one's done. When in doubt, try and use the wrong tool for the job. That always gets it done. Or when you're too lazy to get up and walk to the toolbox. But yeah, those are pretty much trashed. I think. Yeah, good thing they make replacements. But ooh, a little crispy.
Oh. Is there one of those filters? Might come in handy.
Safety monitor. Yeah, looks like it's got a permanent attachment up in the front edge. It definitely was glued at some point, but I think the rust has taken over. A little bit of moisture collected up in here. I don't think I see any really holes, but definitely going to need some good sandblasting action, I think. Yeah, be careful with those. Looks like these front rails for the edge of the headliner are actually screwed into the roof structure. Learn something new every day.
Isn't that kind of like the gun rack?
I'm not sure how that was put in since you...
I think that was factory installed.
Yeah, well, I know it's required by law in Louisiana to have armament in your vehicle, but not so much probably where we're at. It's a much better attachment scheme than the current stick it on with some super glue and hope it holds.
JV Weld?
Nope. That one's got to be recycled, reused. Still got the sound deadening up in there, but we'll see what kind of adventures await. With these little clips for the seat belt, the shoulder belts that nobody ever used in 1970. Probably not enough people use them now, but yeah, kind of like traffic laws in Europe. Oh, that works. Bows are in there, but yeah, I guess they should come out.
Like that.
That looks like a separate panel. Got a welting around the rear window too. Alright, let me go grab something to scrape that off. See if we can get these bows out of here. That one does not want to come off. I guess when you've been mated with something for 50 years, you get kind of attached. Those are a little ornery as well. But for these bows, if you can just get the ends of them to pop a little loose, at least on one side, they're flexible enough where you can pop the other side out as you get to that. That one's got some good tension on it still. Well, maybe the other side won't be as ornery. Just 3 Phillips head in these, and actually they came out nicely. They were playing nice. Not like anything else on this has done that yet, but now we got it all cattywampus. Yeah, I think the visors are quite salvageable. That's definitely not.
It's all about the angle, isn't it?
Yep. Gotta get it in there. All right, interesting little clips holding these back bows up in there. Well, looks like the plastic clips are just a couple of Phillips, but I'm assuming that I would have to snap in there after you have the headliner up in there. So I'm sure it pretty much just snaps out. Gotta love the smell of 50-year-old interior.
Smells like urine. Urine and dust, actually.
Alrighty. That one should actually pop out at this point. Okay. Roof bow's out, headliner's out, visors are out. No major surprises in here. I don't see anything that's rotted through, but we'll take a good sandblasting to get this stuff cleaned up and ready to make a custom interior. So.
Get the dope light out.
That's pretty crispy. Random chunks of animal parts or something, I'm sure. But put down my.
Did we do that?
Yeah, always putting stuff in the wrong spots and. The amazing part is that when I hooked up a battery to this thing, this dome light actually worked. Maybe the only thing on the car that actually did. Oop, didn't need that anyways. Don't know how it did because the ground wire is just hanging off of it. But one shot. A little bit of,
Talking about, honey, we can
little bit of,
use that.
yeah, a little bit of heat over time, but all right. That should do it for the headliners and trim, and we'll get some of the rest of this garbage out of here. All right, let's see what kind of crazy adventures await for us in door panels. Let's see if we can pop some of the trim off of here and kind of shape everything is in back there. Usually is interesting discoveries. And there's not much left of those screws. But a couple of Phillips heads should get the armrest off. And they're nice short ones. Okay. Rear one. Ooh, that's crusty. It's been on there. If I can even find it. And sneaky one down below. There has to be one in there, but I sure don't feel it. Kind of going by braille at this point. Something's in there, but it sure doesn't want to play nice. Okay, let's see if we can get a little assistance here. I don't think there's any screw head left on that. That's the easy way. Not going to be used anyways, but yeah, the plastic was kind of collapsed in around it, so we'll cheat. A little super glue, that'll be fine. All right, bunch of fun Phillips down at the bottom. You know what? Put the moto gear on it. Whizzer wrench. Tried to take these off before without taking the knob off, and it just makes you look stupid. So, all right, next, these wonderful little clips that hold on all of the handles. You can get to that one after you pull that, gently pull that armrest off. These take that funky little 612 in one tool There's a little plastic washer that goes in behind those. You kind of want to get it in between this end of it, in between the washer and the handle. Line it up with the direction that the crank is. It should be able to push that to the point where that clip pops off. That's the little plastic washer I was talking about. Essentially, those clips slide right into grooves in the handles themselves. I'm sure you've seen that before, but I've had interesting takes on trying to get those apart before. So we'll try and sneak this one in there. Typically, if they're put on correctly, which is never a safe assumption, get the tool lined up with the handle. Try and find where that clip is seated. And just push towards the center. Okay, those bad boys off. Then this just come free. Go straight up. There we go. One door panel. These do have a few clips that are completely worn out on the back side of these. These are easily replaceable, but that's basically locating holes to go in the little receiving holes there. So interesting, doesn't look like this has been torn into too much. Still got the factory paper on it. Don't see that very often. I guess it's not a power window car, so didn't have 16 power window motors installed in it. Gotta wonder how many of these springs got lost or trashed on the assembly line floor. But doors look pretty solid. Get you in here for a quick look. Okay. All right, inside of the door doesn't look too bad. A little bit of crud down in the bottom, but really don't see any holes or tons of anything that's too concerning at this point. Once we kind of get the doors off, we'll see what else is lurking behind there, but actually in really good shape. Next, guys, we'll try and tackle this dash, and I'll try and save you the 20 minutes of bad language and busted knuckles and so on by kind of showing you how that comes out rather than actually you guys having to sit through that. So, oh, and by the way, that's my stepladder. I never knew my real ladder. So sad. Anyways, in order to get the column out, obviously if you got a column shift car, there is shift linkage that is attached there. It's just a cotter key. Fairly straightforward to get out. I do believe you got to take off the 82 head or 82 point bolt down there, but that just frees up the column from the front. Most importantly, though, really got to dig up underneath here, right behind that cover. There's just going to be a couple of bolts that will drop the column straight down, so that's just a few Phillips heads. And then up behind all of that mess, there's a couple of bolts that will hold the end of that column right to the firewall. So got to pull that plastic shield off and whatever other rat's nests and so on are in there. So we'll get started on that and go from there. Well, I wish I could say that it was 20 minutes later and it was out, but truth be told, it's next day. So after doing a little bit more digging, did find out that it's supposed to come apart with this little monster right here. Pull the bolt out, and this will separate that intermediate shaft from the column itself. But 50 years of rust and goo and everything else, that did not want to come apart no matter what I tried. So I ended up taking it off at the steering box end. Probably not recommended, but especially when the column is that long, to try and get out of that mess. But anyways, I'm going to soak that down with some penetrating oil for a week or two and try and smash that thing apart eventually and get it separated and back to what it's supposed to be. So anyways, let's play with the dash a little bit. So, first step in getting the dash out, I'm going to take the dash pad out. There's actually 6 screws. There's 2 right in the glove box, 4 across the top, right in front of the cluster. Then that loosens up this side of the dash pad. And then it's held in the front by 5 magical clips. And I say they're magical, not because they do anything special. It's because when you pull this out, basically they do a disappearing act. They fall into some sort of extra dimension, never can find them again. They are completely lost to humanity at that point. So we'll see if we can't maybe rescue a few of them. They do make replacements, but I've never been successful at really finding them after I drop them down in the middle of the dash in there. But essentially this pad is really going to pop up from this backside just a little bit, just so that you can get to it, and then pull straight out toward the back of the vehicle. And get that pad off. Believe it or not, all of those clips came out, but with the dash pad. These wonderful rusty looking things here that just kind of clip on the inside, underneath the inside lip, but they are very loose in here, so they tend to come off very easily. They just kind of snag up underneath a little bit of that plastic in there. That's why they usually drop down in there and disappear. But once the dash pad is off, really the challenge to all of this is just trying to get down in here and disconnect everything that's attached, including all the wiring, radio, cluster. Got to try and get all the wiring unhooked, and then the dash itself, and I'll kind of show you this after I get some of this stuff unhooked, just held in by a couple of bolts here, a couple on the side, and then up underneath the column, and then also on that far side. So we'll get you in there and take a look at that, but I'm going to start unhooking some of this stuff, so just kind of get some of the wiring out of the way. That one looks like it's previously been killed, but must be the radio didn't work so good. So anyways, I'll get working on that, get some of this stuff unhooked, and then we'll go from there. Well, I almost forgot how extremely awesome it is working on an air conditioning car. Unfortunately, there's vents and little gizmos and gadgets that are attached everywhere back there, but I think I got enough of the dash at least dismantled at this point, so I can show you kind of where the attachment points are and then how to pull that down without, hopefully without cracking it, and being able to see a little bit more in order to get to the back side of the cluster and unplug all of that stuff. So we'll get you in here and take a closer look. All right, starting on the right hand side of the dash, there is actually one bolt that is attached right at the top here. That one you can pull all the way out. There's also one that goes in vertically way down underneath here and right up into that bracket. That's repeated on both sides. In the center there is a bracket that's attached basically right here on the top of it, and then way up behind the glove box there is another one right here. So you can pull this one, the bottom one, out. You can get up in there. I had to pull the air conditioning vents out to get to that one, and then it's basically repeated on the other side with a bolt right there in the top, another one in the bottom, and then right straight up and down right behind the column. So once all of that fun stuff is out, then just leave that center bolt in so that you have something for support. And because this will, when you pull this out, the cluster end tends to be a little bit heavy, so it can crack right across this this center seam here. So you want to pull this out kind of all in one, supporting both sides, and then be able to unplug everything from the back of the cluster. So we'll go to that one next. Well, that was easy. Nope. But it is out. So, got a few more things to unhook. Got some vacuum lines to unhook from the air conditioning control, but basically dash is out, wiring is unhooked, so now we can find all the nice mouse nests and get rid of some of those and start stripping it down, because we really want to empty this out to be able to sandblast the entire interior. And so there's a lot more work to do for the heating and AC boxes and stuff like that, but I'll show you how that looks as we go along. So hope you enjoyed that. I really didn't. Well, I know this is the moment you've all been really waiting for, and we're just going to jump right into everybody's favorite Olympic sport, seat wrestling. So Got most of the bolts out, so I just gotta pull the last one out. Did get lucky, got 3 out of 4 of the seat belt bolts to come out, so it is basically loose. But not cooperative. All right, we'll see what we can handle here. I think I'm winning. That works good. Save that for later. Victory! So I think that's pretty much wrapped up on the inside. I'll get you in here for a little bit closer look. See what's left. There are a few things, obviously. Not too many treasures, but some nice old carpet and some rust. So I'll get you in here for a final look, and that should do it for the inside. All right, well, dash is out. Gonna wait to pull that heater box out until after I get the engine and so on out, because getting to those bolts is really fun. But basically everything's out of the dash. Just got the wiring harness kind of laying there. Got a little bit of the sound deadener to peel up, but there's our friend we got to fix next. A few ventilation holes and so on, but pretty much empty in here. So at this point, I would consider the interior complete. Okay, then I think we'll about do it for the inside. Got a little bit more cleaning up to do, but should be relatively straightforward. Hope you had as much fun as I did, or hopefully you had a little bit more fun than I did, because that really wasn't a lot of fun on the dash. But hey, listen, do me a favor, if you like what you see, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and we'll follow this journey together. So time to get cleaned up, since we did get dirty, and see you next time. Take care.